So we just put a tally on how many times he's avoiding the question.
Pork-barreling clowns.
We touched on this yesterday at the Budget Committee, Mr Mayor, so I know you'll have the answer for me. And I asked you how much additional funding is being used to support the Metropolitan Police review into 9,000 historic cases to reassess for the potential of grooming gang involvement. So can I have that figure?
Good morning. Thanks for your question. So just to remind them, I'm not sure she's aware. So at the moment, what the Met is doing is re-examining those thousands of cases of child sexual exploitation going back 15 years. I know, that's what I've just said. Yeah. And the next phase is when the NCA and NPCC work with the Met Police Service to see how many of those cases require reinvestigation. That's when the Met Police will have an idea in relation to the cost. And the government has said, based on what Louise Casey said, let me go back. Louise Casey had said, when she did her report, that the government should provide the support to individual police forces in terms of additional reinvestigation work undertaken. So the expectation is, if there's reinvestigation, the cost of the reinvestigation will come from central government, because what we don't want to do is be drawing money away from contemporary investigations, which have got to happen.
So you'll push for that?
It's really important.
Well, it is important
because if we don't get additional support, those horrible cases taking place now will be let down, and we can't afford another generation of young people let down.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. But it's interesting now that you realise how important it is. Do you regret saying at the MQT last June, and I'll quote you, "There are no reported cases and no indication of grooming gangs in London"? Do you regret saying that now?
The starting point of all my answers has been to talk about the victims and survivors. And I'm quite clear in terms of victims and survivors in London. The situation is complex. That's not my experience. That's the experience of the Commissioner, the Deputy, the Assistant Commissioner, and many others.
Do you regret saying there were no instances of grooming gangs that you could see? Bearing in mind, that was June, and I actually asked you about grooming gangs, or rape gangs, as I will call them, in January.
It's because I take this issue so seriously that in 2023, not in June last year, I personally asked Her Majesty's Inspector, as it was then, to look into child protection in the Met Police Service, and we've acted on all the recommendations, which is why there's been a threefold increase in cases solved. It's because of my concern about this issue. We have now
right, we're on the clock. Approach. I would think if you were that concerned, you wouldn't have pretended last January that you didn't know what I was talking about. But we'll go on. You've previously said that MOPAC had included an expectation of additional funding because they and you are incredibly ambitious, I'm quoting, but they were wrong twice. They got it wrong between November and January, and then they got the figures wrong between January and February. Now, I'm assuming they did speak to the Home Office in between. So if they did, you know, who's wrong here? Did they speak to the Home Office and get the wrong information? Or did your government give them the wrong information?
So which figure does the member mean?
The figures, if you look at the budget, which I'm sure you have done, the figures that they were estimating that you were going to get were very, very wrong in all those occasions. So MOPAC has got it wrong.
Well, I think, Chair, this is a really good example of the different approaches, neither of which are wrong, of financial advice. So my CFO and the GLA has been criticised at the office of for being too prudent when it comes to the draft budget being published and the final budget, and not allocating reserves, and she was confident to do so.
The question was, did they talk to the Home Office?
No, MOPAC's been criticised for being ambitious in relation to...
Can you just answer the question? What is it with Labour politicians that none of you ever seem to want to answer a question? Are you hiding something, or do you hold us all in so much contempt that you've no intention of answering? You answer Labour because probably the Mayor's office have written the questions for them. But when it comes to the rest of us, you do not answer properly. And now you're relying on David to give you answers. And you can rely on him, he gets it right. Unfortunately, MOPAC haven't. You often don't. So can you just answer yes or no? Did they speak to the Home Office before they put those figures in? Yes or no?
And so now MOPAC's being criticised for being ambitious in the estimates in
Right,
terms
I'm out
of
of
what we can
time.
receive
Chair, can
next
you take
year.
it back? He never answers a damn question and we're all fed up with it.
From 2000 to 2016, he doesn't talk about history, there was a deficit every year in TfL. What supported TfL was an operating grant from the previous government. Operating grant and a deficit. We've had the operating grant taken away from TfL since 2015. And what have we done since 2016? Year on year reduced the deficit. So for the first time in the history of TfL, 2 years ago, we've got a surplus. And for the last 3 years, we've had a surplus in TfL. Never done before, being done now. We've also had from the central government, not only a cut in operating grant, a cut in capital support as well, which means, I've got the numbers here, some years, because of lack of support from the government, we've only spent £388,000 in
he's
renewals.
rambling and
what we've
he's
managed to
off
do
the topic.
is increase that from £388 million to now
Chair,
800 and then 863. Now, of course, I want to spend more in renewals. Of course I do.
Chair,
of course
he's just
TfL
monologuing.
will
Look,
do.
the
This is the
point is,
legacy of a decision made by the previous mayor
surplus is
and the
fictional.
previous
Mr. Mayor, the
government.
surplus is fictional because you create it by underfunding capital maintenance. It's obvious you don't take it seriously. That's the answer to my question. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, so
Capital
let's
maintenance has
move
gone
on.
up, though, so it just makes a mockery of his point.
And renewals
Assembly
isn't
Member
funded
Best.
from the operating account.
Assembly Member Best.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Also, thank you, Chair. Mr. Mayor, have you? I'm guessing you have seen that Go Ahead have said they want to terminate their contract early, return the contract to TfL as a result of Labour's national insurance increase for employers. Were they right in that statement or wrong? And it's a yes or no, so you probably don't need pages in your book.
I've not seen that statement. It was mentioned yesterday by the chair of the Budget and Performance Committee. What I do know is that because of the increased costs of running public utilities, including buses, we have break clauses in a number of our contracts that have always been there. Since 2022...
Sorry, is it right or wrong? Are they right or wrong in that? It's if I give you a yes or no question, I expect that in return. If I go on a monologue, I'll let you monologue. I think that's fair. So, right or wrong?
That was a monologue?
Well, the way loaded questions work is you don't demand a yes or no answer. I answer the questions.
Yeah, I
asked.
I asked the questions.
Yeah.
You answer them, and I've said, can I have a yes or no?
Look,
If I get the chance
it's not very productive either way. The Mayor is entitled to answer the question how he wants to answer it. If he feels there's useful background information, he will do
clock's
it.
still going,
Yeah,
Rebecca.
sorry, I will sort out the clock. But, right, you need to allow the Mayor to answer the question.
So since 2022, we've seen an increase in bus operators wanting to use the provision of the break clause to renegotiate a contract.
I'll try again. Right or wrong? Were they right or wrong? We'll go ahead. Right or wrong to say that Labour's national insurance.
Stop
But it's a
now.
different
I'm
question.
speaking. Stop. Right. Stop interrupting. And allow the Mayor to do it, to answer the question. Then you get
Chair,
a
he's
chance.
not even
then
close
you get
to
a
the
chance,
ballpark of where
then
my
you get a
question is.
chance, Then you get a chance to come back. Right.
Okay, you're aware we're on the clock. He's not even close to the
I'm
ballpark
aware
of my
you're on
question.
the clock, but this is the nature of the way
If he's
that
in
you
the
ask the
ballpark,
questions.
I'll let him. It's not
Okay.
the nature of the
Well,
question.
you don't
I've made
know
him
because
nowhere for him to go.
You're not allowing him, as you keep interrupting me, you're not allowing him to answer the question to see if there is an answer there. Then you've got right to criticise. Right, OK, do you want to start the question again and rephrase the question, or do you want the Mayor to answer?
I don't know how I can rephrase a right or wrong answer.
We'll stick with the question.
So we
then.
just put a tally on how many times he's avoiding the question. Were they right or wrong?
OK, right, let's get the clock. Right.
As I was trying to answer, Chair. So early termination started to happen to a notable level in 2022. So they predate the change in employers' national insurance contributions.
So when you say that, so you're saying that Arriva and Go Ahead were wrong to stipulate Labour's rise to national insurance. That's what you're saying by saying it happened before.
That's the evidence from TfL, and TfL are the people.
You say that there's mischief making and hysteria because this happens all the time. Bus contracts are handed back all the time. That's incorrect, isn't it, Mr. Mayor? It's actually very rare for that to happen. Most of the examples you have to go back to the 90s. There's two examples in the 90s. There was one in Enfield after the Labour government were elected. There are very rare examples of this, and you're saying it happens all the time. You're gaslighting Londoners when two of the biggest bus operators in the UK have literally told you Labour's national insurance rise has meant they are terminating these contracts.
So I think the increase in energy costs is unprecedented in the last few years.
Sorry, you misheard me. I didn't say energy costs. I said national insurance. You misheard clearly.
I think there are a number of drivers of the cost of running buses going up. Sure, one of them is the increase in national insurance. Another is the cost of energy. Another is the increased demands of infrastructure because we want our buses to be electric. So there are a number of costs that could be on running buses. But I accept the costs of running these contracts has gone up. A number of our services have gone up. One of the factors is national insurance in the last year and a half, but these increases predate. As I said, from 2022, we've seen an increase in these costs going up. We've seen an increase in bus operators wanting to renegotiate contracts.
So you started off by saying they were wrong to state that, and now you've admitted that it is a massive factor in their costs spiralling. Will you go back to the Chancellor and make representations on behalf of operators in London?
I'm quite clear, Chair, the choice is a Liz Truss mini-budget catastrophe or Rachel Reeves as the Chancellor.
I don't think that Liz Truss introduced the national insurance increase. I think that was actually your government.
Well, let's have a chat about what Liz Truss did then. Interest rate going through the roof because of her kamikaze budget.
Mr. Mayor, just to be clear on this, one of the other issues that are affecting the buses, that we've seen passenger numbers down 20% since the pandemic, is the slow speeds due to gridlock roads. Are you aware which is the slowest city in the world?
There are a number of different metrics of measuring slow cities and fast cities. Some cities have motorways within their precincts, A roads. Some cities
The answer is
don't.
London, and if you want to go back to 2015, before you were mayor, it didn't even feature in the top 10. You've made London slow, buses are gridlocked, and they're handing back their contracts because your government is putting...
It's nothing to do with the budget, it's just
It's why people don't ride the bus. Come on.
Thank you. I think Leonie Cooper needs to go back and look at the budget to see what's in it around LTNs, closing roads, and what the mayor's done with not funding our buses. The ridership is down.
Can we stop? Carry on. Carry on. Oh, dear. Carry on.
Ridership is down by 20%. That is because of the slow speeds. In 2015, when you came to be the mayor, London didn't even feature as one of the slowest cities, and you have now made it the slowest city in the world. Thank you, Chair.
All right. OK, somewhere in there was a question, but I'm not going to ask the mayor to respond to it. OK, let's move on. Assembly Member Georgiou.
Mr. Mayor, over previous budgets, and in fact this budget, you will enable TfL to give the London Borough of Enfield more money for LTNs, 20-mile-per-hour zones, cycle lanes, and additional bus routes, bus lanes, red routes that aren't needed and cause more traffic, pollution and congestion. Is it your intention that TfL continues to do that within this budget, with you working with Labour councils such as Enfield to inflict more of these schemes?
I'm not sure I understand the question. Are we going to give more money to the Enfield? The answer is...
Answer it. It's okay. You can do it.
So, I'm really confused by the question. So the question is a criticism that I'm being too generous to Outer London councils. I plead guilty.
No, my friend. The question was, will you continue, and we're using Enfield as the example, or Labour boroughs, more money via this budget to put in more LTNs, more borough-wide 20-mile-per-hour schemes, more cycle lanes, and more red bus routes that cause more traffic, pollution and congestion?
So, red bus route.
Are you giving Labour boroughs more money for LTNs, cycle lanes and 20-mile-per-hour borough schemes? Yes or no?
So, you forgot here. I know. So I am.
You lot should be on the buses after your performance today, but carry on.
You can.
Mr. Mayor, can you just...
I can't keep a straight face, Chair. Sorry.
Come on.
Come on.
So
Come on.
We are working with excellent councils to make our city safer. So, for example, I'm really proud that last year there were 25% fewer collisions in the 20-mile-per-hour roads than there were the year before. I'm also really proud that there's 24% fewer people killed or seriously injured because of those roads being 20 miles per hour. I'm also really proud we've supported boroughs, great ones like Enfield, to work with their schools to have safer streets. That means kids can walk, scoot and cycle to schools. It leads to cleaner air, but also less children being killed or seriously injured. I'm also proud working with great councils like Enfield to, where possible, have bus lanes, which speeds up our buses, which I thought they wanted us to do. Now it appears that this member doesn't.
Mr. Mayor, going back to the question, once again, because you and I have these exchanges frequently, you support more LTNs, more 20-mile-per-hour boroughs and more cycle lanes. Yes or no?
Chair, I forgot to mention cycle lanes. So
do you support them, yes or no? Do you want more, yes or no? Come on, go get your Green voters back. Come on, do you want it, yes or no?
It's like my
do you want it, yes or no?
12 years old again.
Do you want it, yes or no?
I mean, so I forgot to mention cycling, Chair.
Do
Apologies.
you want it, yes or no? Come on.
So I'm really proud. We've increased.
I know you're proud of your record, but do you want more LTNs, more cycle lanes and more 20-mile-per-hour boroughs, yes or no?
So I'm really proud.
Do you want it, yes or no?
I'm really proud. We've increased fivefold. We've increased fivefold the amount of safe cycling in London. And maybe if you spend some time, rather than bellowing and shouting, meet a family whose loved ones died on a bike. Spend some time meeting somebody who's been amputated because of a vehicle going too fast while they've been on their bike. Why don't you speak to a parent whose child's been run over and killed by a car, instead of bellowing and shouting?
Mr. Mayor, you don't really want to play this card. Why don't you meet the victims of the rape gangs around the country and possibly in London? But anyway, we'll move on. So, Mr. Mayor, let me ask you this question then. If there was a possible, handsome, new, intelligent, dynamic leader of Enfield Council in May, as opposed to the current one, will you gladly meet with him about removing some of these schemes?
I think there's one already, isn't there?
Well, I've seen it all in 10 years. I mean, Can I just say, look, Chair, over the last 10 years, I'm really proud. We may disagree, but working with councillors in central, inner and outer of all parties, we sometimes all disagree. But the key thing is to work in the best interest of our residents. And if, for example, a council changes hands and they decide to pull out popular schemes, often what happens is residents take them to court and they lose a court case. And so I'd encourage him to read the Tower Hamlets court case, should he have the pleasure, we know it's not going to happen, of being elected the leader of that council.
I'm more than happy to see TfL and those people that want to block the will of the people of Enfield in court. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Mayor, the budget shows that the Met must find £125 million of savings in 27-28, £145 million the year after, just to maintain staffing levels. We've seen that your pledge to keep a 24/7 front counter in every London borough is now in tatters, and that we're seeing front counters closing this coming Saturday. Can you give a categoric assurance that we will not see the closure of police stations in London over the course of your remaining mayoralty?
Just to address the first part of his question, he's right to express concern about years 27, 28 and 28, 29. And the reason for that is because the one-off sale of assets, once the money runs out, it runs out. It's not recurring money for the Met Police Service. But also some of the grants received from central government in the past have been one-off grants. That's one of the reasons why we've been lobbying the government for its recurring funding, but for Nick to be at the level it needs to be in terms of the National and International Capital Cities grant. So notwithstanding the record investment from the government in the last 2 years, the increase that I mentioned, there is still a delta, which he's referred to in his question. So I'm quite clear in relation to the importance of police officers and police staff. That's my priority going forward. One of the reasons why I was persuaded to reduce the hours in front counters, and in some cases close them, was because the amount of officer time it freed up, I think 6,000 police officer shifts. I would much rather invest in police officers and police staff than bricks and mortar. So I'm hoping that choice doesn't come sort of Sophie's choice, some would call it. But I can't predict 3 years ahead. But Londoners know, since I've been mayor, more than double investment in policing and prevention, and I'll carry on doing what I can to support the police in this really important area.
Okay, so that's no guarantee that we won't see police stations closed. Thank you. On the pledge regarding the 1,300 additional police officers, we often get told that this was to be PCSOs and specials in neighbourhood policing. I found a piece of litter in Hampton this morning. I don't know why it was in Hampton, but it was your message card for the day of the election. 1,300 more police officers. Doesn't say neighbourhood policing or anything like that. Just 1,300 more. Are you going to make that pledge count, that we will see 1,300 more police officers, given that the numbers are going down?
Well, as somebody who I'm sure has written some Lib Dem leaflets, I'm surprised he believes any leaflet he reads when he finds it.
Well, this is yours. This is yours.
I'm surprised.
This is yours, and it's also in the name of Assembly Member Leonie Cooper.
I'm surprised.
Leonie Cooper, here it is.
I'm surprised. I'm surprised.
Card. I'll bring it up for the camera. There we are.
I'm surprised. I'm astonished he can understand it without a bar chart. But maybe there could be a bar chart.
There is a bar chart, Mr. Mayor, on the front.
So let me.
Tories would cancel free meals under a Tory mayor. Your TfL fares would go up.
Let me. They used to be in bed together once. This coalition. No, they're not bedfellows now. So let me be quite clear of my manifesto pledge, and he can write it down. Work with a Labour government to put an extra 1,300 neighbourhood police officers and PCSOs on the streets. And last year, we added an additional 490 PCSOs and police officers. This year, our target is for an additional 399 PCSOs and police officers in our neighbourhoods. And we're going to carry on trying to fulfil that promise made in the manifesto.
Thank you. I would just, before I finish, I would just say that those aren't more police, they're just redeployed. But thank you very much. Thank you.
What is it with Labour politicians that none of you ever seem to want to answer a question?
Pork barrelling clowns.